Hi fashion designer. Today we're going to draw a bag, and first of all I would like to tell you that there are 20 new bag templates already available in the app. You can find them across different categories. Be sure to check them out and maybe they will be your inspiration for your next project. So let's go to the crossbody section and select the template that I will be using for illustrating a beautiful Carolina Herrera bag from the New York catwalk. So as you can see, I found a pretty similar template, not going to alter it that much, and overall shape is pretty much the same. So I will use two views, and that's why I will hide one of the templates. Use these toggles to change their opacity. So these two will be enough for me to illustrate this bag. Starting on the first layer, I'll just slightly reduce the opacity, just enough for me to barely see it. And I will start tracing the template. Since the bag is going to be white, I'm going to need a shade of gray. And I'll pick a pen of a small size and just start tracing the bag. The outline is ready, so I will start coloring it now, and I will be using some shades of gray and white. Think of the overall shape of the bag as a cylinder and color it according to the notion that it is round. Therefore, there's going to be light in the middle and there's going to be shadows on the side. So first I started with just filling in with this marker, but I'm doing it on a separate layer under the outline, so outline remains visible, but at the same time I'm not disrupting it. So now I'm adding the light with a lighter color. I'm using the straight line option, and I just feel that with white color it's a little bit difficult to get a very slow transition of color. Because the bag is matte, I really need these gradation to be as subtle as I can. So I might have to try and change the strategy. So this is pretty good, but let's see what would happen if I picked a watercolor brush. It would give you, I think, a much easier way to also achieve this effect. It looks good. I'm going to pick an eraser and get everything outside of the borders to erase, and then I'll use a scissor tool to copy these coloring to the next view. Now I can focus on the handle and on the black part. So I picked a black color, created one more layer, and as I made the template more visible, I'm gonna be able to color fill it. So I'm taking this tool, making sure I have the right color, which is black, and just hold it and drop it to the area of the template that I want to be filled in with this color. Just make sure your template is of enough opacity, because if you remove opacity a lot, it's not going to, the tool is not going to recognize the area that you want to color fill. so I made it quite obvious for now, just to drop in this color. I'm reducing the opacity now that I color filled it, and I'm going to fill in the missing areas quickly with this black color. So I have this as a basic shape of the black elements, and I will start to work on adding some light to this area. Since it's a black matte leather, there's just a bit of lighter areas where the light hits it, so just slightly gray. And I took this gray color to add these light areas. I'm using a separate layer so that I'm not disrupting my previous work, and I'm using a straight line to make the coloring kind of consistent with the shape. So I will use it here on the handle. A few straight lines will do, and I will as well add just a tiny bit on the inside of the bag. One more layer, and the next thing I have to do is to add some stitching. I will pick a black color and a dashed line. Have to have a steady hand. Finally, I got to the metal parts. I'm creating one more layer, and the most effective way to do it is to actually get a couple of shades of this ochre color. I usually use the hair palette for that. I don't like using bright yellows and oranges for gold. I like these muted colors, they look more natural. So I'm starting with some middle value color. It's not too light, not too dark. And I will first draw a simple shape, color fill it, and then I'm going to move to lights and darks, adding to this shape. I'm taking a lighter color now to start adding some light surfaces. I took a pen of a small size, and you can take a look at the reference, or you can just imagine where the light source is from, and really not just try to copy exactly all the reflections, because in life there's so many light sources maybe at the same time, but keep a rather clean pattern of light. It's also very useful to use a straight line to do that, to make it neat and quick. I'm just adding some light areas, and I will do exactly the same with the darker color. And finally I will take some white just to add a couple of highlights. I can copy this little part that holds the bag handle, and using a scissor tool just mirror it to the other side using this middle mirror mod, and I'll just drag it now in place and make sure it is symmetrical with the other side. Right now illustration seems finished, but if I add the cast up shadow, it's going to look as if the bag is standing on the surface, which will kind of anchor it to the background, and as well it will unite two views visually. It's going to be like a connective part, because before two views were disconnected, almost like a technical drawing. Now it will be visually united and more interesting. So I took one layer and I really dragged it down underneath all the previous layers. And what I'm doing now is using a flat marker just to saturate a bit of gray under the bag drawings. I do have some white color left over from coloring the white leather, so I found that layer, I switched to it and erased it. And I want just to add a bit of a darker part right underneath the bag, which will make it look more like a shadow. And I think it looks quite well. I'm just going to clear this up, and this is it. I hope you liked this video tutorial. Please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more, and thank you for watching.